All right, guys, Kevin here with Kevin's Way Works. So it's 84 degrees outside, 65% humidity, feels like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a little warm, a little sticky. There's no breeze that I can feel, so this is going to be a very fun job, let me tell you what. So what we're going to do here is change the oil in this Husqvarna riding mower. This is a YTH 24K48 and it has the Kohler SV 725 engine. So let's go ahead and get to this. I just wanted to give you guys some information on the oil that this thing takes. So right here we have a 10W30. This one is Mobile One. This is the high mileage version because I could not find a regular in a 10W30 that was full synthetic. So doesn't need the high mileage. It has a little bit of extra additives in there that this type of engine doesn't need, but this will be perfectly fine. It's a little low on the zinc content. It should be a little higher. You can get some zinc additive that you can add to it. The zinc is really good for flat tappet engines like these. They don't have the rollers on the rockers, on the lifters, anything like that. So you really need that extra zinc content in order to keep those things lasting as long as they can last. So right here you have the Kohler 10W30 synthetic blend, and this one does have an extra zinc additive to it. 2 of these guys cost more than 5 quarts of this. So you kind of got to make up your mind as to whether or not you want to spend the extra money. I decided to spend the extra money. If I had some zinc additive, I would have just gone with the Mobile One and then put some of that zinc additive to bring it up to the recommended zinc content. But in general, you should last many, many, many years, even if you don't use the one with the extra zinc content. But like I said, it's always recommended to use the one from the manufacturer because it's going to have everything in it that it needs. So right here we have the Kohler number 52050-02-S1. This is the oil filter. There is 2 different versions that are good for this particular engine. And this is the Pro version. It's a little bigger. Don't really know if it does anything else other than it holds more oil. But the black one, I believe that one is a 1205001 part number. And I'll put the actual part number up on the screen here. We're going to go with this one because that's the one that the parts store has, and that's the one I've always been using. For those of you who are interested, this thing has a whopping 460.4 engine hours. All right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this cover off the engine bay because it's just in our way where it is. So let's go ahead and unplug the light. You're going to tilt it forward a little bit and then just slide it right off. Set it out of the way. Next thing you want to do is remove this retainer right here so you can slide this little cover off. So I'm going to use this panel tool. I'm just going to slip it back there and pull it out. Set that aside so you don't lose it. Slide this guy up and off. So I don't know if you can see, this one's a little dirty. I'm going to take a screwdriver just to see if I can get some of this junk out from under here. All right, and so now what we're going to do, put that rag back up under there. Just like so. Going to take some brake parts cleaner. Go ahead and squirt that off. Now would be a good time for that straw. Although my straw is missing, so we're just going to do it like we did it. So just get all that cleaned up like that. How's that look? That looks pretty good. So the way this one works is you turn it counterclockwise and then you pull it out and then the oil will start coming out. Before I do that, I'm going to take this cap off and see exactly how big this tube is. I can't get it off, guys. My fingers are failing me. It's rubbery, but it's kind of hardened up. Come on. There we go. So Cap's removed. Let's go ahead and clean that off a little bit. I'm going to see if I have a hose big enough for that. Okay, I think I found a piece of hose that'll fit on there. I might have to kind of stretch it out a bit, but let's see if we can get that on there. Yeah, so that fits. Oops. So I'm going to kind of turn it to the side a little bit like that. So when I turn it and we pull it out, it's going to be angled down somewhat. Okay, so this engine holds 2 quarts. I've got this little drain container here, this little Tupperware container, and didn't have a lid, so my wife was going to throw it away. I took it, and it works really good for stuff like this. So we're going to drain that into here, and it should catch it all because, like I said, this only holds no more than 2 quarts unless you overfilled it. So let's go ahead and turn this. I'm not sure how far you got to turn it. Oh, it's starting on the screw. Uh-oh. That's not good, guys. That might be why there's some leakage going on here. So anyway, I'll fix that after we drain it. So I'm going to pull this out. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but we are draining oil out. So I'm going to set this down here so it catches the oil. And then I'm going to see if this is pulled out all the way, because I don't know that it is. We actually might just... No, that didn't help. I pulled the dipstick tube out, thinking maybe that was going to make it flow a little better, but it didn't. So I don't know if that's out all the way. Let's take our screwdriver, and we'll kind of work it out a little bit just to see. Actually, I'm going to take my panel tool and see if it will work any. So that must be out all the way. Oh geez. We got a little drop on the driveway. So let me get you set up right there and you can watch this thing drain. Very slow. Very thick old oil, whoopsie. Let's see how much we get. There are markings on this container. I don't know if you'll be able to see them or not. We're probably 1/3 of a quart right now. We are over the 1/2 quart line. Just let it drain, let it drain. Taking its time, taking its time. That's as far out as I could pull it, so I guess that's just how it's supposed to drain. Whew, guys, I'm gonna go inside, take an hour or 2 break, and come back out, and hopefully it'll be close to done. I'm just joking. Obviously, I'm just joking. It's not gonna take that long. Do 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 do. Holy sweat. Holy sweat. Guys, I am dripping. I am dripping the sweat. So I'm taking the dipstick out all the way because I think it's falling back in and it's kind of impeding the ability of this to drain efficiently. Do not overfill. No problem, sir. Thing has stained on the end. Went from yellow to orange, dark orange. Almost to the quart line. Almost hit the 1 quart line. I don't know why I sing because I'm not a singer. Singing is not my thing. I will call that 1 quart. So far we've drained a quart. We should have a little less than a quart to go. Probably not that much because, like I said, this thing hasn't had its oil changed in a while. It wasn't low because I have added to it over time when I have checked it and it was low. So it kind of has new oil in it, but it has really old oil in it as well. While that's draining, I am gonna get a drink. Well, we got a little bit on the ground. So what I did is I went and I got a piece of PVC pipe that fit kind of down that oil fill hole, and I gave it a little bit of lung pressure, and it started coming out pretty quick, but then a little bit of air got forced out with it, and it shot it out onto the ground. So that's okay. I have a video coming up that shows you how to clean deep soaked in oil out of your concrete. All right, everybody. I'm going to call that sufficient. So let's go ahead and spin it back in. Actually, we got to push it in, and then we got to spin it clockwise until it clicks. I felt a little tiny click. It wasn't much, but it did click. Let me get you back up to where you can see under here, because we got another thing we got to fix. Let's go ahead and pull this tube off if we can. Kind of wiggle a little bit. Still has some oil in it, so go set that out of the way. So the problem we have is this plug or nipple that's screwed into the engine is loose, and we need to figure out a way to screw that in. I don't know if I have any type of socket that'll fit around that. I don't know what we're gonna do. Oh my goodness, my knee is still stiff. I mean, that's like just tucked right back in there, and I just can't get anything on it. I mean, the best I can think of is we take this plastic drain thing and we just twist it, and hopefully that'll be enough to hold that in place, because there's just no way I can get to that I can figure. So that seems better. I'm gonna call that good. Stripped a little plastic off the elbow, but I think that's gonna be tight enough for now. Alrighty, let's go around. Let's get that oil filter taken off. Okay, the oil filter's on this side. We need to take this cover off right here. It's the same way as the other side. There's a clip right here. So I'm gonna come up under this clip and just pop it out. That's what the clip looks like. Set that aside where you'll remember you placed it. Don't be like Kevin and put it somewhere and not be able to find it. It's where it happens every time to me, guys. All right, let's get you set up to where we can drain this. All right, there is gonna be some oil in this, but not a lot. Most of it drained out when we drained out the oil on the other side. So shouldn't be too much, but we're gonna put a little bit of paper towel under there to catch any oil that does remain inside of it. So I'm gonna place this up under here like that. Go ahead and get our little oil bucket. Should have plenty of space left in this guy. Just kind of place it below there. Some of it, if it rolls down, it might drip off of the frame, so just make sure you have it to where it'll catch those drips. And what I use to undo filters is one of these rubber ratchet straps. It just works easy. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna just put this on the end. The end's pretty strong. Get it down to where I can get a good grip on it. And, well, this one's barely on there. And just give it a twist. I could have actually done that with my hands, but sometimes some people gorilla tighten them, so those things are on there tight. All right, let's go ahead and Like I said, there is some oil. Make sure you catch it in your bucket so you don't make a mess on your driveway. It probably would be good if you'd had a piece of cardboard to put it on there, and then you could direct it out with that. You might have to fold the edge up here because gravity wanted to pull it this way. And so it came running down here. Still went in the bucket, but we almost did miss. So this actually does have a lot in it. I expected there to be a lot less. It's actually pretty full, almost to the top. So I'm going to go set this over in my oil drain container where I put all the oil filters that I then take to the recycle center later. So I'm going to set this over there, get it out of the way. All right, has that finished? That's probably good. Let's go ahead and remove our paper towel. Put that over here in the oil pan I have beneath my feet. So this new filter actually does say to fill it up with oil. All right, hopefully that'll focus. It says, clean surfaces. Fill with new oil to the base of the threads and wait 2 minutes. Oil the gasket before assembly. Tighten 3/4 to 1 turn after gasket contacts the base. Check for leaks. Sounds simple enough. Let's go ahead and do that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got a leak. A little more snuck out on us. Look at that. That's all right. It's not a lot. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. Sneaky little devil. Glasses are covered in sweat. I can barely see out of them. I just opened up our new thing of oil. You know what? Let's do something here. Let's do something here. You guys probably want to watch. Let's see what we can do here. So basically, we're going to fill this thing up to the threads with oil. Ah! You guys let me go. Oh, no, we're good. So I don't know if it means just keep filling it until it's at the threads or what. You know, it really doesn't matter. It basically just wants oil in the filter so you're not dry starting. So it doesn't really matter how much we get in there as long as it's good and filled. I don't know how you're supposed to install it without it dripping out everywhere, but we're going to give it a shot. If I'm doing it wrong, tell me in the comments. If I'm doing it right, tell me in the comments. All right, so that is now at the threads. I'm going to let that sit. I'm not going to let it sit on this tire because it's going to end up falling over. But I'm going to let it sit down here on the ground in a stable location, and we'll come back in 2 minutes. Here we go. Start the timer now. You guys want to watch while it drains into the container? Here. I know you guys do. I know you want to watch. I don't know if you're going to see anything, but I'll set you up so you can watch. Let's go ahead and zoom in. All right, you guys keep an eye on that, okay? Call me when it's been 2 minutes. What you guys think? Has it been 2 minutes? Yeah, I think we're good. It hasn't really changed any because I think I overfilled it. But like I said, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go ahead and whiz this back on there, give it 3/4 of 1 turn, and it'll be ready for oil. So let's get set up and let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's make a mess. Clean that last little bit up, not like it matters because we're about to make even more of a mess. Oops, sorry guys. So first thing we want to do is we want to put some oil on this gasket like so. So I'm just using the oil that's already in there. And once again, I use my finger that I'm going to use to tighten it with. Don't forget to remind me to clean my hand before I try to tighten this. So I'm going to take a paper towel and set it right here because I got a feeling that we're going to spill some oil as we do this. So let's be quick. How was that? So right there's touching. We spilled a little bit of oil, but not much. Didn't do too bad. So I have to clean my hand. I have way too much oil on it. There's no way I'm going to spin that in. You could probably get away with using one of those little rubber ratchet straps. You just don't want to dent in the sides any. Let me go clean my gloves off a little bit. We'll get that spun on. All right, guys. I don't know if there's oil on this thing. There might be, so I might have just kind of defeated the whole purpose of doing what I just did. So I can't see any lettering on this, so I don't know what one full turn is going to look like. So I'm just going to put a little mark right there. So we need to end up right about here, between here and here. And we will have tightened this to manufacturer specifications. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that spun on. All right, here we go. 3/4. Oh, we hit the 3/4 mark. So what is that, about 7/8? I'm gonna call that good, guys. We did it. Now it did have oil on it, so now it was a little harder to turn because of that, but not much, just a little bit. Made in India. Okay. I am happy with that. Next step, let's fill this girl with oil. Oh no, guys, there is a storm coming. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this because there is a little dirt and debris just hanging out right there. You could try to pour your oil into here. I'm just going to set this funnel in there like that. Uh-oh. That's not good, guys. That's not good. You know what? You guys need a better view here. You guys need a better view. Oh, you're all crooked and stuff. How's that? So these hold 1.6 to 1.9 quarts. I don't know exactly what this holds. The manual I have says 1.6 to 1.9. So what we are going to do, let's do 1 3/4. So basically we're going to leave about 8 ounces and then we'll check the fill on the dipstick. And if we need more, we'll add more. So like I said, you could probably get away with doing that. I'm going to use the funnel just in case. So before we do anything, just remember, did we spin on the oil filter all the way? Did we close that little port down below here so we don't leak oil? And the answer to both of those for me is yes. So let's go ahead and pour our quart in. Actually, this one's a little less than a quart because we put it in the oil filter. Neighbor fire. Ah! Gotta be careful. If you fill it too fast, it's too much for the dipstick to handle and it will come out of the dipstick around your filler, which is exactly what just happened to me. So fill a little slower than I did. Learn from Kevin's mistakes. We'll call that one a tip from Kevin. Kevin. My goodness. I made a mess. We made a mess, guys. It's really not that big of a mess, but we did make a little bit of a mess. All right, let's try this again. This time go a little slower. Go a little slower. No reason to go fast. We're not in a race. Slow and steady wins the race. And I think I mentioned it earlier, I can't remember now. You can do 10W30 depending on your weather. So where I am here in the southeast, this is perfectly fine. This is really good for colder weather. So if you're anywhere from 0 degrees Fahrenheit and up, you want 10W30. If you're 50 Fahrenheit and up for usage of this. They say you can do just straight up SAE 30. So let's try to get down to where we leave about 8 ounces in this container, and then we will check the fill level. I'm gonna go a little slower this time. All right, we have 8 ounces left. Right about there is 8 ounces. Let's go ahead and take this out. And let's see how much oil we have in here. Sometimes it's hard to read right after you filled it because the oil sticks to the edge of the tube. So it looks to me like we were just a tad below that top line. So I'm going to call that good. We don't need to put any more in there. So the next step is to get the hours off the hour meter and make sure you put it in your maintenance log. And that way next time you're thinking about changing your oil, you know for sure when you did it last. You guys almost missed the most important part of the process. You got to reassemble your lawnmower. That goes there, this little clip goes under here. I'm going to do it by feel because I don't want to have to mess with the camera. Let's go ahead and do the same on this side. I'm going to get this out and ready so I don't forget about it. Get that snapped into place. Take your little clip, snap it into place. And let's go ahead and get the hood back on. So just take it, there's 2 little slots and 2 little pegs on the hood. Tilt that back like that. I don't know where this is supposed to go, so what I usually do is just run it down through here and then plug your headlights back in. Close her down and you're good to go. All right guys, she is all done. All right guys, we did it. We're a little sweaty, a little humid out, but otherwise we got this thing done. Everything went well. We had that little leak we fixed, and everything else was pretty much by the book. So basically we ended up putting 56 ounces in here, which was within the specifications called for in the manual, and that is between 1.6 and 1.9 quarts. So everything went great, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you can use that to change the oil in your Kohler engine. And as always guys, thank you for watching. Kevin's Way Works.